Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Garden State Growing. Again, my name is Eric. Now, if you haven't been to this channel before, I am a backyard gardening enthusiast. Now that I have taken it to such a level where I'm planting so many vegetables at different stages and different stages of harvesting and fertilizing and watering, I found it's best this year that I'm actually going to come up with a legitimate plan. Better than I had last year. Last year, a lot of those plans were just in my head. To this section, we're going to start on this section here, and then I'm going to just kind of work my way around. Don't worry, I'll get rid of this once we get over here. I'm going to work my way around over here, and I'll bring it here, and then all the way back over there. And of course I have my two tomato beds with the tomato trellising monstrosity. That needs a little TLC. It started to bow down in the middle from the weight of the tomato plant, so I got to just prop it up with a pipe or something like that. We'll see, I don't know, I'll get to that. I am going to keep my tomatoes in these beds, but I'm going to do something different. Last year in these beds, I planted a tomato plant just about every 1.5 feet this way, and then I did 3 deep. So it was this, and then this, and this, and then this, and this, and then this. And I really believed with the aggressive amount of pruning that I do for tomatoes and single stemming, it really wasn't going to be that issue. And it kind of really wasn't. I got some really great production, but I'm going to loosen up how tight they are. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to just do, in every 4-foot section, I'm only going to do 5 plants instead of 6. I know that seems like not that little, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 and 2, and then 1 in the middle, and then 2 and 2. This should open it up for a lot more room, a lot more airflow, and a lot more resistance to things like early blight or late blight and some other diseases that happen to tomato plants because of lack of airflow and too much moisture. All right. So that's it with those. I'm going to plant less. I'm going to choose more wisely. When I do go over my seeds and I start talking about why I picked why I picked it, I'll tell you the tomatoes that really didn't perform last year or didn't taste that good to the tomatoes that were just mind-blowingly delicious. And I know I have pictures of those. So I will put them up there for you. So I'm going to choose more wisely. I'm going to know that I only have 5, 10, 20, 30 plants per bed. I'm going to take that into account. Of course, I always grow more seedlings than I need because I can always give them away or find somewhere else in the yard to plant them, because it doesn't really matter where I plant them. If it's an extra plant, I just let it go and see what happens. I mean, I could plant it beyond my shed for all I care. All right? So that's exactly what I did right here, okay? Right here in this section. Can I blow this up for you to make it a little bit easier? I'm trying to do it. All right, so yeah, that's a little bit easier to see, don't you think? All right, so I have my deck right here, my house here, and right here, okay, ba-ba-ba-ba, don't do that, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Right here is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? I was going to give these plants away. Nobody wanted them. Well, some people wanted them, but they didn't want to come and pick them up, so whatever. And I said, well, they're going to go in the compost pile. My wife was like, why? Just plant them outside the fence line. If Chance gets to it, who cares? If a rabbit gets to it, who cares? You were going to throw them out anyway. So that's what I did. So I started like this little challenge, and I don't want to get too much into it, but it was how little I could care for those tomato plants to still see if they would produce good tomatoes. And you know what? They did pretty decent. I still believe in pruning. I still believe in taking care of them. But for just throwing those plants in the ground and not doing anything but barely watering, they did all right. They really did all right. All right, so let me, I keep on trying to do it when it's on my phone. All right, so let's move over to this section, and I will blow this up. Okay, so right here we have my shitty greenhouse. Yeah, you can go back and watch that video. More into that. Right here I have that big pine tree, the Christmas tree that we used to have that we planted in the backyard that grew. Now it's like 40 foot tall. And right here, okay, right here was my pepper bed. Now, I guess the biggest mistake I made, but it was an accident, so I don't know if it was a mistake or just an accident. I got tags off of Amazon, some, you know, vegetable label tags. They looked good, they were cheap, whatever, and I had permanent markers. I had Sharpies. And I had written the names down of every pepper, every vegetable that I put in my garden. Well, by mid-season, for whatever reason, all that ink washed off or faded, but was completely gone. Completely unreadable. So right here, what I ended up with was Russian roulette pepper. I mean, I know what a habanero looks like. I know what a Tabasco looks like. I know what a jalapeno looks like. They were all in this bed. But there was a lot of peppers I was not exactly familiar with. I didn't have the seed packets. I didn't save them. And I couldn't read the labels. So every time you went there to pick a pepper and you didn't know what it was, you were playing Russian roulette. I eventually got my nieces and nephews to come over one day, and I actually paid them. It was like daring them, and I was like, hey, 20 bucks to eat this pepper. They made a lot of money that day. All right, so what I'm going to do with this section of the bed is I'm going to dedicate it to just hot peppers. And yes, I got a picture of it. I will put it up. I ordered 16 of the hottest peppers in the world to plant. Why? Because I can. Why not? Okay? So that is what is going to be in this bed and this bed only. And I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did with my tomatoes, I'm going to do here. Instead of doing rows of 3, okay, I'm going to do the 1, 2, 1 in the middle, 1, 2, 5. All right, so I will still have 30 plants in here. That will be plenty. That will be plenty. 16 of the hottest peppers. Some of them I'm going to keep in the greenhouse. I can plant 30. I can plant 2 of each kind, and it should be fine. It should be great. So let's move on to this bed right here. Now this bed was just kind of stupid. I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking when I planted it there. I probably just said, hey, I got these seedlings, they gotta go somewhere. It seems like it's a good spot to have light. You know, I probably judged all of that. I don't know. I gotta go back and look at that video. But as you can see, there's a lot going on in this bed. I had the dinosaur kale, which was huge. It grew to like 8 foot. These big, massive 3.5 foot leaves. Bigger than my chest. I mean, literally. It was like my torso. They were so big. So I had dinosaur kale right over here in this corner. And then I had purple orach right here. That would have grown a lot better if I didn't have that dinosaur kale blocking it out. But the thing is, I ate some of that purple orach. It wasn't great. It was okay. It was good. I threw it into some salads. I'm not going to grow it again. I'm definitely not going to grow it again. Then I had the red Mammoth Cabbage that grew great. I only, for whatever reason, planted 1, and I got a beautiful head out of it. It wasn't huge, but it wasn't mammoth. It was like petite, but it was nice. It was a great cabbage. Then right here in this middle section, I had extra pepper plants, and once again, pepper Russian roulette. I had no idea what I planted here. A lot of those peppers that I planted in there were, to me, unrecognizable, except for the one habanero plant that was in there. And I had to play Russian roulette with them to find out, and I'm not a huge fan of super hot stuff, but some of that stuff was hot. Then I had the Swiss chard right here. That is going on the bye-bye. Now, even though I like Swiss chard, my wife hates it. So if I cook it, she's not going to eat it. And there's no point in me cooking something she's not going to eat. When there's collard greens or broccoli rabe, you know, or spinach greens, or kohlrabi greens, there's so many other greens out there that you don't have to, you know, grow something that you don't want to eat. Okay? My kohlrabi and my fennel, they grew weird last year, but they grew and they were big and they were very edible. The only mistake I made with them was not planting more. So I am going to double what I planted last year. I'm going to go right ahead, double the kohlrabi. I'm going to go right ahead and double the fennel. Some people might know it as finocchio, okay, in Italian, or like anise. That's fennel. That was my shitty greenhouse right there, okay? Right up there in that corner. And 50 rolls of duct tape, wood strapping, machine screws, could not keep this thing from blowing apart. As soon as winter hit and we got the first snow and there was 2 inches of snow on the roof, the whole thing collapsed. It's done. I wanted it to be done. That thing was a piece of garbage from the day I bought it from Wayfair. Alright? So that right there, boom, it is gone. That's going to open up some more growing space. What I'm going to put there, I'm not exactly sure. Because, I forgot to mention right here. Right here is where I had the totem pole with sweet potatoes in buckets hanging from it and my dragon fruit on top. And right over here is where I had my pot of rosella. I'm going to continue with those grows and see how they do. So this greenhouse is gone. Bye-bye. Now over here in this section I have my dog house and I have my shed. Now the shed's falling apart. It's just a collection. Like I put 2 things in there I actually want. My lawnmower and my snowblower. Everything else in there is pretty much garbage. So that shed, boom, that's going on the bye-bye. Now this dog house right here, I spent $500 building this dog house. My dog will not go in it. The best she'll do is she'll lay in front of it sometimes. Or if you throw like a treat in there, she'll go get the treat and come right back out. So that's going. But the thing is, I don't want to just trash it. I will if I have to get rid of it, but I don't want to. So if anybody's watching this and they want this for their dog, all you have to do, contact me, go to gardenstategrowing@gmail.com or my Facebook page, or comment on the YouTube channel. As long as you have strong enough people to come back here and pick it up and move it. How much it weighs, I don't know. I would imagine a couple 100 pounds. But if you got 4 guys, you should be able to lift it up and get into a backup pickup. If you have that ability, the doghouse is yours. But you have to act soon, okay? So what I'm going to do right here in this section, I'm going to get rid of the doghouse. I'm going to get rid of the shed. I'm just going to tarp my lawnmower and my snowblower. It's no big deal on the side over here. And I have about 3 times more space over here to have a much bigger greenhouse, which is going to give me a lot less pressure to feel I need to move plants out into the ground before they're ready. And they're more protected. Also, I think this year, things like my dragon fruit and my rosella, and maybe some pepper and some onion plants, I'm just going to keep in the greenhouse all summer. I'm going to have it controlled with exhaust and heaters and everything. It'll be, temperature controlled, humidity controlled. I should have some type of automated sprinkler system, or, in the future. So we'll have to see. But that is definitely a plan. I just need to do a lot more research and find out what is the most cost-effective way to do this, and longevity. I want this greenhouse to last. If I have to put a little extra money into it now, so it lasts me 10 years, that's what I want. I don't want this thing blowing apart. So we'll see if there is some type of kit that's not $2,000, or if I just have to build it myself. Okay, so let's move on. We'll go to this bed right here. That's my lettuce bed, and I planted way too much lettuce. I planted spinach, strawberry spinach. That's gone. That's the bye-bye. That tasted terrible, the strawberry spinach. So I'm going to reduce that by at least half. Me and my wife, we had way too much lettuce to know what to do with. I was like trying to give it away in bags to people at work. I mean, people were grateful for it, but what a pain in the butt. You know, it was like every day I had to go out there and pick bags and bags and bags. Oh, look at me, you know, people problems. Bags and bags of food. Oh, that was rude. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Rich people, no. Middle income, lower to middle income people. Problems. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. Anyway, so I'm going to reduce the amount of lettuce that I'm putting in there to probably about a third. That's going to be more than enough to satisfy me and my wife at any time that we have to. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do there. That's going to open me up to expand on some other vegetables. I definitely want to get like Brussels sprouts over here, and maybe I'll bring that Mammoth red cabbage up here. I don't want it crowding it out, so I'm going to, you know, judge the sun and find out where I'm going to put them Brussels sprouts, because they get huge too. I don't know. I'll think. Maybe I'll do the dinosaur kale right next to Brussels sprouts and just let them duke it out. You know what I mean? So that's my plan there. I know you say, oh my God, you have this big open space. Why don't you put anything there? Well, because this area right here gets almost no sun. These two beds right here just make it where they get the sun all day, pretty much all day. At least after like 11 o'clock, they start getting sun, and then they get it for the rest of the day. But this tree, which is a lot bigger than it looks right here, shadows this area out. You know, even this area back here gets more sun than this area here because of that tree. So there's nothing you can do about it, and so I don't think I'm going to plant anything there. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll throw a pot of something there. Maybe some patty pans or something like that, and let them trellis up on something. So I don't know. We'll see. That's open. I don't really have plans for that yet. Like I said, it's very, very, very little sun. Alright guys, once again, I do apologize. I am going to have to stop the video right here, and we're going to have to call this episode 2. Once again, tried to edit it down. Too much information being put out there. I don't know if I'm rambling too much. I just tried to give you the short and the skinny of what my plans were for this year and how I plan out my garden. And if you are living in this area or a similar area of like zone 7, 6A or 6B, whatever it is, dead winter, you don't know what to do, you want to start your garden, you know, you're thinking about getting an inside tent or something like that, go right ahead, try it out. Try some supplemental grow lights. Just don't go crazy. You don't need to spend a fortune to get good results when you do a grow tent inside your house. And I definitely recommend doing this planning stage. What I didn't tell you about with all this planning stage is Google Calendar. As well as using this as my format for designing the garden and where I want to put things and where it's going to work out the best. I also am going to input all the dates of everything that I start, whether it's seedling, you know, or seed or seedling or a transplant or an up pot or going into the ground. Everything's going to be listed into Google Calendar, so I can accurately predict when I should be able to harvest vegetables, and also put a fertilizing schedule down. Like I said, I'm going to try to do some type of automated system. I did try last year. It was a miserable failure. I have to rethink it. I just might go the cheap way. Who knows? It's the easiest way. So I have to do that as well. So that being said, this is where I'm going to end this video. I do love you. 500 subscribers. I will not stop keeping on saying that. It's absolutely amazing. If you did like this content, please hit that like button. It does mean a lot on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Because YouTube sucks, sometimes you're not going to get a notification that I put out a video even if you are subscribed. So hit that notification bell, and then this way you will definitely get a notification. If you think a friend of yours might enjoy this content, feel free to share it to their timeline. If you find that intrusive and say, oh, well, why is this guy showing up on my timeline? Then, you know, share it maybe to your own timeline and tag some of your friends so they can come on over. Give me a recommendation maybe, I don't know. So anyway, I love you and have a great evening. Bye-bye.